Matt here with another on target deck of the week. So this week we're going to be doing Discolock. So what I'm showing you now is current zoo. To make it a Discolock zoo, we're going to make a couple changes. First off, we're cutting the Forbidden Ritual. We're cutting the Dark Iron Dwarf, Dark Shadow Councilman, and the Night Juggler. What we're going to add is a second Soulfire, Malchazar's Imp, Dark Shadow Librarian, and 2 Silverware Golems. This gets you to a Discolock. What the advantages of Discolock are, you're using the synergies with Malchazar's Imp, Silverware Golem, and your discard cards like Soulfire, Dark Shadow Librarian, and Doomguard to not lose card advantage and to cycle towards your power overwhelming combos later in the game. It's a high risk, high reward play. If you have bad RNG with this deck, you're going to look silly. If you don't, this deck is insane. So let's take it on the ladder and see how we do. Alright, so let's queue in with the right deck this time. So, good matchups. Well, actually, let's talk about. There's really only a few good matchups. There's a few really good matchups, but the really bad matchups are Shaman and probably Control Warrior. Mage is pretty okay. So, what we're going to try to do, we're going to try Mulligan like early Zoo. We have the coin, so we can play this guy on turn 2. Let's pitch the Argus and the Ritual, because we don't want to play that later. Then we got Imp and Malchazar's Imp. So what I almost want to do is coin out the Flame Imp and Argent Squire, depending on what he plays turn 1. Alright, I got my Doom card. So this makes for an interesting turn now, because do I want to Imp coin Doomguard on turn 5? Or do I want to put the board presence out? What I'll do, I'll go ahead with the board presence, because that's what you really want to do as a zoo deck. So make sure you're on the board. This guy, you could probably waste a Flame Strike or a Frostbolt on it. This guy is a little more difficult to remove. The only problem is I don't have easy game. Now, let's see if we can make a game here. So, I'm not sure why he quit there. He must have just mulliganed. Got a terrible mulligan there. So, let's see what this one is. Okay, Warrior. This one might be an interesting matchup because you really don't know what you're facing against with a Warrior at these points. It's turn 1. I want to keep the ending balance. I'm just going to pitch the Argus and the Imp. The Imp's more of a combo piece for later in the game. So I got Squire and Flame Imp again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play Squire turn 1 because it eats up the charge of the Fiery War Axe. And this looks like Control Warrior, so he's playing Malchazar.
The light protects me.
So if he decides to axe this time, he'll take 2 swings with the axe, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Alright, we're going to Peddler. See what we get from the Peddler. Nothing great. I almost want to do Corruption here. In case he plays something that I really don't want to trade into. This guy's slam, he's trying not to draw. Or he's not drawing. So we'll just play on Curve. Imp Gang Boss next turn. We play it over here, because if I want to put a Direwolf, my Direwolf in there, I'll put it right between these guys. And I'll just keep pinging him in the face for 1. Next turn I'm probably tapping.
Speak to me.
Like, this is a perfect corruption target. And I got the imp. Nice. So I'm going to tap first, see what I get. Alright, defender, I can probably play that next turn with either possessed villager. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flame up here, corruption, that guy, get one draw off it maybe, and just keep pushing face damage. So killing the Divine Shield, drawing a card. It's fine.
I have an axe to grind.
Perfectly fine. So now, turn 5, got my defender and I got my abusive. What I'm going to do is defender these two guys, then abusive, flame him, kill that guy, and just go straight face with the other two. So you see the kind of the power of this deck. So now next turn, yep, he's gonna try and draw and play another 3-drop, which doesn't hurt me that badly, quite honestly. So he's drawing a card. So now Voidwalker, I don't care, I already have a taunt. What I'm going to do is drop my imp. I'm going to drop my Doom Guard. Draw 2 more cards for next turn. Which would have been nice to get that right away. What I'm going to do is kill... double trade push face. It's a very aggressive deck. You'll want to push... You want to clear as much as possible and push face whenever you can. Armorsmith's weird. I haven't seen an Armorsmith in a warrior deck in a while. I almost want to get rid of it. Because he's just going to keep building armor, building armor, building armor. So what I might do, depending on what I pull this turn, he's just going to armor up, and I think he's done for the game this turn. Alright, Argent Squire. It's not a really good draw, so I'm going to tap. And here's the fun part of this deck. I'm going to throw out these guys. I'm going to trade in here. And I misplayed because now my board's full, but that's fine. I'm just going to push face damage. And next turn, when he clears anything, I have my Darkshire Librarian into Silverware Golem, and I'll get to play the Silverware Golem for free if I pull a 1-drop. Okay, Revenge. Gonna do some damage to me, but I'm gonna do some damage. He's probably gonna armor up or shield block. That's fine. That Doomguard will take care of it. So perfect, perfect, perfect. Direwolf goes right in the middle. Darkshire Librarian discards the Silverware Golem, which puts it in my board. I'll tap. Soulfire for the win. So this is the kind of thing this deck is very powerful with. Now he's going to probably execute that, which is fine. Now I have another Soulfire. I have still my 2 power overwhelmings in this deck. So the fact he's gaining armor doesn't matter to me that much. So he's at 5, he's at 8. But if I pull power overwhelming, I'm in the game. And I have 2 draws to do that. So this represents 4, 5 damage, which puts him at 3. We'll tap again, and I almost want to Ritual here, since I didn't pull my Soulfire, and just continue to push this whenever I can. Now, I'm kind of expecting a Whirlwind, but I do draw a card if the one does, but he decides he's had enough of the game. So, as you can see, things go pretty well with this deck when they go well. So now, let's do one more game, because why not give you a game on this? Just to give you an idea, maybe we'll pull a bad matchup and see what happens. Like I said, Shaman, especially Aggro Shaman, is probably your worst matchup. You're really good against Hunter. You do pretty well against Warrior, for the most part, except for maybe a Cthulhu Warrior, but they have a little more survivability. I think he just got unlucky with his legendaries he got from Malchezaar, and we're not a fatigue deck at all. In fact, we might actually... I've had games where I've
Gul'dan versus Gul'dan.
gone into fatigue turn 7. So, here's an interesting matchup. This is a Warlock. I'm assuming it's Zoo. If it's Reno Lock, we're in pretty good shape. I'm going to ditch the Soulfire. I'm going to ditch all three. None of these are great. So we're going to start out with a Flame Imp turn 1. He might copy one, do the same thing, which is fine. He mulliganed his entire hand, except for... Yeah, he mulliganed his entire hand. Alright, we're going to Flame Imp. So I'm assuming this is Zoo or Reno Lock. I'm assuming this is Reno Lock if he mulliganed his entire hand.
Get it out! Get it out!
Still could be Reno, because they play that card. Now, the question is, do I Ritual for 2 1/1s or do I Dark Peddler? Part of me is thinking Dark Peddler here, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to pick up the Soulfire and just push face damage. I really don't care about that 1/1. I can kick out that 1/1 easily. Nice coin, go face, Infinite Boss. That's fine. Now, here's where it's fun. I'm gonna Imp.
You are not the boss of me.
And Abusive.
Get in there and fight, maggot!
So push the face damage. I'm gonna Soulfire. And discard Silver Golem, which gives me command board. Take out the token and push 5 in the face damage. You want to be aggressive early on in this matchup, but also keep the board as clean as possible. If he's smart, if he's lucky, he can. And now he knows that I have the lead, and the game's over. So that's the power you have with this deck. You can swing the game pretty quickly. That's it for this week. Until next week, good RNG.